Welcome to Coco's 2D Tutorials, brought to you by Bob Euland. For more information, go to bobuland.com/cocos2d. In this tutorial, we are going to learn some basic sound sorcery. Let's begin with this slide. As you remember from a previous tutorial, your app can use OpenGL to draw using the graphic card. And similarly, it can use something called OpenAL, which stands for Open Audio Library, to play sounds using the sound card. What is OpenAL? The OpenAL is to sound what OpenGL is to graphics. The design of OpenAL is heavily influenced by OpenGL. The primary target group are the game programmers. The crucial factors are low latency, simultaneous sounds, and an API that game programmers are familiar with. What does OpenAL provide? It provides low latency playback, multiple simultaneous sounds, three-dimensional sounds, distance attenuation. For instance, the sound getting louder as the hero approaches the battlefield. Doppler effect. For instance, the pitch of the missile becomes higher as it approaches the hero. And audio input capturing, enabling you to record sound. Let's now look at OpenAL and Cocos 2D. As you remember, Cocos 2D is an in-between between your app and OpenGL. In the same way, there is an in-between between your app and OpenAL, called Cocos Dension. By the way, while the Cocos 2D was primarily written by Ricardo Quesada, Cocos Dension was primarily written by Steve Oldmeadow. You might ask what the word dension means. It is a Japanese word that means electronic sound. Let's now look at Cocos Dension and OpenAL. Cocos Dension allows you to use the power of OpenAL on three different levels. The lowest level is CD Sound Engine. The second level is CD Audio Manager. And the third level is Simple Audio Engine. When you go up, the use gets simpler. As you go down, the use becomes more complex, but at the same time more powerful. So, which level should you use? For basic audio requirements, Simple Audio Engine is recommended. For more complex audio needs, you can use CD Audio Manager. It is fairly low level and requires understanding of the underlying technologies. In our tutorial, we will look at Simple Audio Engine. Let's go to Xcode. We are inside Xcode. Let's examine our starting point. It is essentially what we did in the tutorial how to create a button. But now, instead of creating one button, we are creating two buttons. And we are adding them to a menu, and then adding the menu to the layer. And when the user touches the first button, we call the button1 method. which just logs the text sound 1, and similarly for button 2. Let's test this. Here are our two buttons. If we click on the first button, sound 1 is logged. If we click on the second button, sound 2 is logged. So that is our starting point. What do we have in our resources? Here are the images for the two buttons. And here we have two sounds. The first is called enemy.mp3. As you can see, it is approximately 1 second long. Let's play it. The second sound is called background.mp3, and it is approximately 8 seconds long. Let's listen to it. So, what do we want to do in this tutorial? Our task is to play a simple sound, and then to play background music in a loop, and then to play a simple sound while the background music is running. And our plan is to use Simple Audio Engine. The needed files for Simple Audio Engine are located here in the folder Cocos Dension. If you open it, you will find Simple Audio Engine files. But what if you don't see this folder inside your project? In that case, you have to drag it from the folder which you downloaded when you installed Cocos 2D. Search for Cocos Dension with Spotlight and you will find it. When you have found it, just drag it here in your project. Let's now go to the docs and read about Simple Audio Engine. It might happen that you don't find the documentation here. In that case, go to the official homepage of Cocos 2D iPhone, click on Documentation, and then on Online API Reference, and then on Classes, and you will find it there. Simple Audio Engine. Click on it and let's look at the methods. There is a class method called Shared Engine, used to get access to the Simple Audio Engine object. Once we have it, we can send a lot of different messages to it. And in order to play a simple sound, we can use the play effect method. Let's try that. First, we have to go to the helloworld.h and import simple audio engine.h. Then go to the implementation file and write simple audio engine shared engine, and then we send the message play effect, and the file name is enemy.mp3. Let's see if this works. If we click on this button, the sound which is in this file will be read into the memory and then played. But to read from a file into the memory takes some time. So it can happen that we get some delay between clicking the button and actually hearing the sound. Let's try it. And as you heard, there was a clear delay. But the second time we click on this button, the sound is already in the memory, so there should not be any delay. Let's try it. And as you can see, no delays here. The question arises, is it possible to preload the sound into the memory before we play it the first time? Let's see what the documentation says. There is a method called preload effect. So let's try that. We will do it in the init method. Simple audio engine, shared engine, preload effect, enemy.mp3. Let's see if this helps. If it works, there will be no delay. Let's test it. And as you can see, it works just fine. Let's now play some background music. If we go to the documentation, we see a method called play background music. Click it. Place the background music in a loop. Go to Hello World layer, and as usual, simple audio engine, shared engine, and now the message play background music, and the file was called background.mp3. Before we test it, it could be a good idea to preload it. Simple audio engine, shared engine, preload background music, background.mp3. Let's try that. This background music is 8 seconds long, but we are looping it, so it will be continuous. Click. And as you can hear, it works just fine. One question remains. What happens if we click on this button that plays the enemy effect while the background music is running? Let's try it. And as you can hear, it works. But what if we hit this button 2 times in rapid succession? Will they interfere? Let's try it. No, as you can hear, you can play many sounds simultaneously. Thank you for watching.